Today, my guests are Laura and Gonzalo, the creators of Casa de la Tierra in Oaxaca, Mexico. And I sat down with these two after living in their house for 2 weeks, really experiencing firsthand what it means to live in an eco house like this. This is definitely the cutting edge of regenerative building. And it didn't just make me feel amazing, it also got me so inspired. And so I highly recommend tune into this episode. They are sharing some natural insights, some wisdom that they can casually share because they're living it. And like Gonzalo says in the episode, that house is actually a political statement. So I hope you enjoy this episode with Gonzalo and Laura, Casa de la Tierra. Great, here we are. This is Green Planet, Blue Planet podcast. My name is Julian. I'm here today with Gonzalo and Laura. Welcome, you two.
Gracias.
Thank you. Gracias for that.
Yeah, you two are the creators and owners of this beautiful bamboo house that we're sitting in, Casa de la Tierra, in Puerto Escondido in Mexico. I want to hear, I've spent the last 10 days here and it's been fantastic. I want to hear about the journey of where in the world you went, where you got inspired. You're from Argentina, you're from France and, Europe, Spain, all of the places. Yeah. And, I'm German, who's lived in Canada for a long time, but somehow we're all here in Mexico. And in this very, very inspiring nature house. And with an architecture that's more than a house, it's really like an ecological showroom almost to what's possible. Where did that journey start for you? Like when were you somewhere where you're like, bamboo is the answer?
Empezó.
Sí.
It started years ago, and I would say years ago before starting thinking about the house. Started when I wanted a change. We wanted a change, I was working in this life with the life when you go to work and you have a schedule and you have everything is like this. So I left this life to find something else, So I think the seed started here. And I was looking for answers, and I was like reading a lot of books and looking a lot of documentaries, hearing a lot of podcasts. So perhaps someone will be in the other side hearing this podcast actually. So, and then I started to listen, to hear, and to get inspired by other people who are creating houses, who are creating projects, who are creating, like putting the seeds even in really small projects, clothes, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the seed. Okay, so I want to emprender something. Emprender. I want to start a business, okay? But a business with my heart and to help the world. So that said, after I met Gonzalo and we did a big match, okay? And after
eco match,
we started to speak, and organically we were in Oaxaca and we started to do Airbnbs, like renting places, making them nicer with pallets and many stuff, like always natural at the beginning. And after we realized recyclable stuff, and we realized people when they arriving, the place was really bohem, really simple, and people, they really liked the vibe. So we said, so when we create a space, people, they come and they feel, they calm and they like the place. So we started really small and getting bigger places. The pandemic arrived and all our business, they fell down. It was a big crisis. So we realized we want a place like from scratch, buy a land and start a project. So this idea to create something for the planet, for everyone, like not ecological, it's not sustainable, it's like part of the planet, like really, so this is part of it, okay? It's not like to help, no, it's part. So it came from, we know how, like when create spaces, people like it, and we want to do something for the planet, with the planet. So that's how we match with the bamboo. And the bamboo, to be completely honest, we absolutely don't remember how this contact came to us.
The bamboo came to you?
No, we don't remember. We don't remember how the contact came. We thought, and we are like, okay, no, they don't, and we don't find the who created, like the guy who helps us to create the house, to build the house, es un biopermacultor, se dice.
No, es biólogo.
Un biólogo.
Permacultor.
Like a permaculture biologist, yeah. Yeah.
And it's bioconstructor also.
Yeah, so biological construction.
Exactly. See, at the beginning, even with Jorge,
Yeah.
who is my partner now, because we have a little business with the bioconstruction here.
Yeah.
With Laura, we're thinking in the adobe, clay,
Right.
at the beginning. But when we talk with Jorge is from Veracruz, and Veracruz is like the capital of the bamboo in Mexico. So he say, guys, wait, my specialty is the bamboo, so maybe we can do something with bamboo. And with Laura, it's a good idea.
And it clearly worked out. Yeah. Yeah.
It's more eco even, but it's not more eco. There are a lot of alternatives and the eco techniques in order to build in a house or buildings, but the bamboo was incredible, and for us it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's, the interesting thing about this place is when you're in it, you feel different than in a regular house. And I like what you said, Laura, that, the eco or sustainable or any label you could put to it, that comes secondary. First is it part of nature? Is it part of the intention of being an alive ecosystem, right? And another really fascinating thing here, and I've traveled far and wide and been to a few different places where I was just completely wowed by how they interacted with nature in a syntropic or synergistic way. And here you have from, the birds in the morning to the frogs and sapos at night, you notice that the natural world around you loves this place. We leave the property and we're suddenly in the dry desert of Oaxaca. And inside of this property, there's like a water fountain, a man-made cenote, lots of animals. There's a different form of breath that seems to happen here. And I think it has to do with you too and the way you built this and the way you intended to build this. And in a certain way, how you modeled nature by building this.
It's creating an ecosystem.
Exactly. It's a little ecosystem.
Yeah.
With always in the way of the nature, of the natural cycle. So it's normally it's easy. Like when you do the natural things, the natural it happens.
The thing about what do we need? Okay, so what do we need to live? We need water, we need air, we need earth, and we need plants. Like the house, how to make it natural and how to make it breathe like part of the nature. I think many of the time humans we see as we came in this planet. Okay, we came here. And we are like, we see ourselves like aliens, we are on the planet. No, we are the planet. So this house is good thinking. We are the planet. So I need water, or say, from where to create a natural pool. I need breathe here in Puerto Escondido, okay, if I don't want to use IC. So how to create a space open, but at the same time hidden and cozy, okay, and after, I need fire, I need this and this to create all of this to make it work together. So that's the concept. But honestly, to be totally honest, when we were building this house, it was really organically. We didn't think too much about it. It was just like, okay, we create what we want, okay? So if I want to give the experience, I would like to experience myself. So it was not too much like super organized. It was like, okay, we are going to do what we love. So this is the house, honestly.
I like that. There's like the red thread is not maybe flipped to how most people think about anything they do. I have to have it figured out before I start. I need to have a plan. Exactly. I need to know every detail before I even make step one. It's what you're saying, if I hear that right, is it's quite the opposite. You had the core intention, which is build something beautiful.
Yes.
If I'm hearing that right too, you two met, you said it was a big match. You were saying an eco match. So
I think
love is part of this.
I think this house is like Laura told you, because our personality and our match always is the same. So maybe we do, and then we
adapt.
adapt. Understand? So look, we want this. We go. Come on, and then wait, and this is like a fusion with the, I don't know, my English is not good. I don't know how you say that. This like
A fusion.
Action, reaction, and the analysis. Understand? Analyze the cables in the middle, and then it's and when
The alchemy.
the alchemy.
Yeah, it's like an alchemy. But this is why it's so worth talking about it, because we'll make sure people get to see images and footage of the place as part of the episode too. And it's so worth talking about it because the process of how to build something so beautiful, something so integrated, is living life itself. It's not that you two came with a master plan and you're like, wait, everyone, we know better. Let us show you. No, you've created a little oasis in a place that's already paradise in many people's eye.
And as well, be able to be flexible. A lot of stuff that you see now, they were not planned. Like the last floor was not planned, and I wanted many stuff to be different the way they are. But okay, so if I put this here, the animals, they will die, so I change. So I create something else. This bed was not here. The bed downstairs, it was not designed the way here. So it's just like be able to change, like to adapt the plans, like the flexibility. Okay, so this is a big part of the house. We decided the stuff and we had to change a lot of stuff. Like I think todas las construcciones, when you build a house, it's always like this.
Depends. We work this.
Ecological house,
perhaps the person.
Well, it might be similar in any process of life, and I want to get there because this morning, Laura, you invited us to join your yoga class here in town, which was fantastic, and it was really a good way to start the day. But yoga being a philosophy of life and a philosophy of union is an interesting kind of, let's say, backdrop to this conversation as well, because it's so much more than just building a house. If you build a regular house, you make a plan, square boxes, how many people get in there, how many units can you sell, and you build a square box and hope that people buy those lots, right? And maybe in those cases, we've seen this in the cities all over the world, it doesn't really matter if you change the natural environment, because what matters is it has to fulfill on the profit equation that it's built for. But we also know that that's both destroying the environment as well as kind of destroying the beauty and the soul and the love that a place holds naturally. And it's a bit harder to put this into words, but being here feels different than being anywhere else in Puerto Escondido. Like your place is a little escondido within Escondido. Like you can hide here, it's like a little oasis. And so I think that life philosophy behind it is very valuable and very worth highlighting. Well, maybe bamboo found you. How did yoga find you?
Yoga, I started yoga 10 years ago, I think. I think yoga, I was attracted to yoga because of the philosophy behind it. Like the frequency, the energy. It's not yoga because it's way more than just the movement, etc. It's more like yoga is to quiet my mind. And many of the yoga teachers, actually, they are attracted by yoga because they have crazy mind. I do have a crazy mind. So people say, you are calm. I train my mind to be calm. I love yoga because I need my mind to quiet, to calm down, to find my soul. And I fell in love with yoga because the philosophy behind is the auto-realization, the auto-knowledge.
Self-realization.
Find self-realization, to find yourself. So I am 30 of any tools, yoga and many others, to find myself, okay, to know who you are. And actually, many people, they come here and they are like, okay, so I started to meditate and I feel and I feel. So the purpose and the gift I could give to others, to myself, like to create spaces actually where people come, okay, and they have the ability like to connect with nature in the space, in the temple. The energy matches, okay, so they can calm down and find themselves. So it's yoga and so much more in the end, no? But yeah, I find it because I needed a tool to calm down, okay, and to find answers. You find answers as well, like a good philosophy, nice philosophy. Yeah, definitely.
What's your yoga in life, Gonzalo?
I don't practice yoga, but I don't practice yoga the yoga that the people knows.
Right.
The
asanas, yeah.
Exactly, because with Laura normally to talk with yoga because she is a yogi, a very good yogi, you know. But my yoga in this kind of words is maybe the responsibility, the freedom and responsibility in this society, or maybe the justice. I always say my virtue is the justice, but it's me the defect also.
Your virtue and your flaw.
Yeah. So
Tell us more. This is interesting. Yeah.
This is my personality. Normally, maybe some situation for the justice, maybe it's not good for me, but it's the justice. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
So this is my yoga. Maybe this is my north. So wait, here it's okay, but it's not yours. There's other thing. So I don't know exactly, but I love the philosophy and talk with the people, with you, with Laura, with Sophie.
I can add something because I know him a lot. What I would say, I do. So because I know you, it's like the yoga, it's like he's a lot. He has the ability, like la compassion, the compassion, and he has this ability, like I am always like flying and going high and it's like this, so using words, yogi words, and he has the ability to take all this knowledge naturally and to put it down. Okay, Laura, so you think this, help your neighbors, okay? So help the neighbor in front of you. So he's more like in the earth and he's like, this starts helping everyone, not only the one who comes to my class, but la mujer de la tortilla, the tacos, like helping, okay? Whoever comes to you, and I think you have this great ability to be open.
What a beautiful compliment. But it's also interesting to see the two of you in your interplay, or as you said earlier, the alchemy, right? Which I think is, I've been seeing this all over the world for the last, decade or 2 decades even, where when there's a group of people or a couple where there's love, there's respect, there's justice, there's a true north, and it doesn't matter if it's a yogic philosophy or a Christian philosophy or another philosophy. It ultimately really, it just matters that people have this really clear understanding of who am I and how can I connect my ideas to the world around me. And somewhere there, the alchemy starts to unfold. And it turns into beauty, and this is why I wanted to make sure I sit down and interview you two, because this house, it inspired me so much. I know it will probably inspire every single person that comes through here to see that more is possible. Different things are possible, It doesn't always have to be the same. Like often people say, well, history repeats itself, right? Like if it happened this way already, it will happen this way again. And I think the difference is us. The difference is who we are and what we do and how we take a next step, right? And so every person along the way, if we pay attention, might just switch us on or might just allow us to open up to a new possibility.
This point is really important. A lot of people want something different, don't know how to start. Now it's getting easier because of the information, because those podcasts, so people can get inspired faster. But what I will say, don't listen when you have a project or when you want to do something and you start to share it around. If people that are not in the same vibes, perhaps their first thing, it will be, oh no, but this is too complicated, it's different, be careful, it can be dangerous, it's not sure, it's like ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. So in this, when you hear this, do this and go to see people who did it. Okay? This is really, really important, and I used to say it a lot to people. Many people, they come here, I want to do a bamboo house, I want to do ecological, but my friends say, it's not sure, it's not safe, and blah, 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 blah. I say, okay, did you speak to people who did it? No. Okay, just start with this. Take an example, take many examples, go to them and speak with them, because people who advise you, they have another life. They want another lifestyle. They have other projects. So it's good for their projects, but it's not good for yours. Okay, so go and talk to people who have or who wants to have the same ideas or near to your projects. Like this is a really, really important thing. Because when I wanted this bamboo house, when I talked to my parents, for example, the first thing like, oh, no, don't do that because it will be too dangerous. And honestly, it's not the easiest way. It was the easiest way, okay, because it's different. And here, the workers, they don't have the bamboo knowledge. So you need to take time to train them. You need to take time. Everything is slower. But in the end, the fact like you create something aligned with your values, this is everything, honestly. So if you have the ability to have like this la valentía and the courage to stay with your values, okay, even if it is complicated, go to people, speak with people, share, gather with communities who want the same, okay? Because together, I think we have this thing, like when we want something, we go, okay? But we are two, and many people, they are alone, so they need people around, okay, to stay and to do really what they want with their heart.
Yeah, for me in general, is the fear.
El miedo.
Fear? Yeah.
Fear.
Yeah. Normally, the culture, the society, or even more, the government or the state, whatever country, put fear in the people. And for that, for me, the rebellion is fantastic because this kind of thing, for example, is remember I told you a couple of days ago,
a couple of days ago, this is an acto político. Yeah, it's a political act. Like it's a rebellion to build something so different. Yeah.
Because normally the people say, "Oh, friend, Gonzalo, be careful. The dry buffer. Are you sure?" Yeah. Because for example, for me, this is the real change. Understand? So this is like it's a shock in our head or our mind, in a cultural shock. So if you can change this kind of things little by little, for me it's nice. And even I think this fear is part of the. I speak in Spanish because maybe it's hard for me. Creo que el ser humano, no está preparado para poder hacer cambios que no lo va a ver él mismo, sino que nuestras generaciones futuras. Maybe you can speak translate.
Like the humans, they are not ready yet to make changes. They are not going to have the profits. So it will be for the next generation. So they are like, okay, if I do that, it's not for myself. And this is exactly what I was talking this morning in my class, no? Like, don't think only about you. Have the ability, okay, and cultivate the ability to see you in the others, like the compassion. And because of the lack of compassion in general in the world, okay, it's not going to be for myself. I won't have the fruits of my actions, so I don't act. I continue.
Exactly. For example, I enjoy the process, but the fruit is not for me. It's for 2 or 3 generations.
It's like the tree takes years to grow and then years to bear fruit, right? And so
I won't eat the fruit of the seed I'm going to put now in the earth, so I don't put the seed because it's okay. So
right.
We are going there. I'm really positive in humanity. So we are going there. Just need everyone is going higher the frequency and still little, but
I like this very specific example there of the metaphor of the seed that grows into the tree that bears fruit, right? It's very true. I mean, seeds of change and planting seeds of positive planetary change or positive global change, we might not see those fruits, and hopefully our children will. And maybe we will even when we, in a few years or decades from now, but nonetheless, it's really worth doing it, especially, as you said, if there's this feeling of justice, our inner true north, where, I didn't personally know, let's talk about it, I didn't personally know I needed to experience a dry toilet to, learn the next step of what I was learning in this year so far, But actually, being 2 weeks at this place with a dry toilet has made me think about the way our society deals with gray water and how we deal with, sewage and how we deal with, that we don't want to look at, like garbage, like trash, like toilet water, etc. It has made me think about it just naturally, because when you when you're in here and for 2 weeks, you scoop the dirt or sawdust after yourself, and you have to kind of understand the poop stays in the loop, as they say in permaculture, like, right? It comes out into the compost, and a couple of weeks later, it, comes back into the soil. That's not how it's done in all the other places. So if I go into town and I go to a restaurant, I go to a bathroom that's actually, it's an interesting, kind of weird topic to talk about on a podcast, but I go to a bathroom that's ultimately so much more gross, so much more dirty. And I just hit the water button, I flush, and it's all gone. However, I know at the same time, this area has a water shortage. I know that, the moment I hit the flush button, I actually don't know where it goes. So there's such a weird disconnect in our society at large, and in my life personally, because I'm part of the society in a certain way. And so I didn't know it, Gonzalo, but your political act of making sure the dry toilet is part of this beautiful bamboo house. Yeah, it's actually it's like a teacher. It's like an alive teaching entity I'm interacting with, right? And so maybe the dry toilet alone won't enlighten humanity, but it's an interesting step, and it's an interesting step to connect, because for many years I've asked people, what do you think about trash? What's your point of view on trash? And maybe you guys can answer this, because there isn't a whole lot of trash on this property. Like, the water stays in a cycle, the toilet is a composting toilet. So you've thought about this quite a bit, haven't you?
I have a sentence for this proposed.
Yo traduzco.
Sí, the sentence I spoke in Spanish. Es: cada uno debe hacerse cargo de su mierda.
Yeah, everyone has to take care of their own shit. Yeah.
And be aware that shitting.
With this, imagine every house. Cada uno haciéndose cargo de su mierda. Every house.
Yeah.
The trash is gone.
Well, most people can't imagine this, because what shows up in people's minds is the Middle Ages in Europe, where in a city like Florence, people would just throw all of the garbage, the remains from butcheries, the toilet garbage into the river. And so the river would pollute, and then the drinking water would pollute, and so we would stay sick, right? But obviously that's not the only way to do it. Yeah.
And that's the dry toilets. Actually, they're funny, because they're an image. Now, when you go to the toilets, first, most of the time you are with your phone, so you don't even know you are shitting, because you are scrolling or whatever, Facebook or Instagram, okay? And after
looking shitting,
look at your shit, you just flush. So this is a disconnection, actually.
Yeah.
Every day something is going out to your body, and you don't take, you are not aware. Even for the woman, each month the blood is going out, and you don't see, because whatever you are doing, So the dry toilets, you know where your shit is going back, okay? You can even, you take it, you put it back to the earth, and this is the cycle. Here the water is in the pool. After you take the water, it goes through filter, and after you use it for your shower, you can even drink it, because it's double filtered with carbon, UV, and after it goes back to the plants, and the pool, it's going back to the earth, okay? It doesn't need to go in the water. Actually, the water is to wash your hands or wash your body anyway. So yes, I think you're right. And it's so nice you said, when you are used to dry toilets, when you go back to water toilets, you see the water, you're like, that's for my hands. You're like,
yeah, the question marks start to appear. It's like, why are we doing it this way, right? And this is a different kind of shit talk on this podcast today, but it's funny, and respect this creation of both of you, that we can talk about this particular topic without it being awkward, but realizing it's part of the awareness of what in this society is kind of going astray. And so the political act of building something that is a closed ecosystem on a planet that is a closed ecosystem makes just so much sense. I actually have a story before we move on from the shit topic. I was with indigenous people of Brazil. This is a long time ago. Sitting, learning with them around a medicine week and immersion in Brazil. And I don't remember exactly who brought it up, but one of them brought up, it was a bigger group, brought up that in their tradition, the Western world and the way we live in the West has so many layers of strangeness, of weirdness, of alienation from nature. And one of the most awkward ones is, now imagine you're living in a skyscraper, that we flush our poop by our neighbor's head.
Mm-hmm.
And on the day I was like, what are they talking about? I was barely understanding what they're saying. But ever since, this image has kind of permeated my consciousness that, like, yeah, if you live in a big city and you live in a skyscraper or a place with multiple layers, you're literally sending by what you're leaving behind by where your neighbor might be sleeping or making food in the kitchen. So in a certain way, it seems so advanced, but it seems also so unnatural and so unsanitary in a certain way. And I think we all know where, if you've ever built a house or had to replace a sewage tank, like, it is a messy undertaking. And so kudos to you for taking composting to a whole other level. What else is different about this place? Because I know it's not just the bamboo, it's not just the dry toilets. There's, you talk about gray water, and water is actually for our body and washing our hands. Tell us a little bit more. I'll show you videos of this place, but of course, unless we're here, it's hard to know.
The house has a lot of eco techniques.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, the structure is always bamboo, but it's open. So it's like it's a bioclimatic place. The arquitectura bioclimática.
Mm-hmm.
We have ventilación cruzada. I don't know how you say it in English.
Yeah, like the ventilation is a natural ventilation, and it's crossing naturally.
Obviously, but unfortunately, the people don't use.
Yeah.
Because they put wall, and
AC.
So this is when you do a bad intervention in the natural cycles. This is the example. Wall, AC. So this is stupid, but I mean, if you want, you can do it. But when you do a very good intervention in the nature, in the environment,
mm-hmm.
the nature is more easy, quiet, because the nature is. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? Because
yeah.
You can integrate your feeling, your place in the nature.
Right. That's where the synergy between humans and nature becomes one. Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now you can feel the breeze, so it's open, so you don't need IT.
Yeah.
So, for example, we use the green roof. The green roof is a thermic roof,
mm-hmm.
and we use the endemic scenes. So we have grass and maybe endemic plant,
mm-hmm.
and obviously it's better because it's fresh. With the ventilation cruzada and the green roof, it's different. You can feel it.
You can literally feel it. Yeah, that's what I tried to say earlier. Like, you can, when you leave this place, and it's not even a large property compared to, like how it's multiple layers, so it's a very large house, but the property itself, it feels like there's a particular climate inside here. It's a little less hot than everywhere around. So many more plants, more airflow. All the animals are coming through in the in the run of a week. So it's in me, this is something I always keep a track of in my own personal experiences. How much is my inner child activated by a place? And as you said, like, if it's wall, my inner child is basically dead. It seems like a classroom of the 1990s, But if it's a bamboo structure and everywhere I look, it takes me like minutes to understand how this is built, and it stimulates, it's inspiring, it's uplifting, right? It's playful, it's like life itself.
Even the weather here in this place also is nice because we have a bio pool, a bio piscina.
Uh-huh.
And the bio pool obviously is without chemic, so it has a natural filtration, and even has a fish. The fish even eat the eggs of the mosquitoes, for example, with the crocs,
the frogs, yeah.
So this piece of water helped to the weather in the house also. With
in the microclimate, yeah.
Microclimate. So for that, this is microclimate. It's a new ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you can find these things in the eco houses.
Right.
Otherwise, it's impossible, because when the people do a bad intervention of the nature, it's different. And eventually, has a too bad consequence. Imagine bad intervention.
Right.
Imagine good intervention, good.
You stack the positive results. Well, but that's what we're seeing in the entire world, right? Like you could name so many different places where people are like, well, that's just the weather here or just the climate, but it keeps getting worse because if we make, as you say, a bad intervention and more bad interventions, more highways, more buildings, more square boxes, more AC, whatever it might be, it's ultimately not as advanced as we think it is. It's actually quite basic.
Yeah.
Because if it destroys the natural environment and you need to continue to make interventions, at some point, like there's no more intervention you can make.
The shape of the house has like, I remember we decided a square or a round. So tapping into the inner child. So there are no corners. Okay, and look to your body. You don't have corners. Okay, the shape. If you take a mandala, no corners. So the shape of the creation, no corner. Everything is round.
Yeah.
So we really wanted that as well. There are no shapes. Everything is round. So that is really childish as well. Like
childlike, yeah.
The houses in general, when you start drawing, what you do a square or you do a triangle.
Right.
The round, I think, it's touched something in the mind, in a subtle way, even in the heart. It's like you go down, you're more child, it's like playful, okay? Everything when it's round. So I think, yes.
It's more relaxing because it's organic.
It's organic, yeah.
It's organic, so it's more relaxing.
Like naturally, there are no corners. It's really rare in the nature, like the squares.
It's the simple things that make a huge difference, right? Yes. I'm curious, so now you guys built one of them. You said earlier, Jorge, your partner in the bamboo architecture endeavor, you're working together now. What's next for you two? You know, you have a young family, you live in Oaxaca state, you built this amazing bamboo house called Casa de la Tierra. People can come, can visit, you know. What else are you two planning? What's the next political act, the next revolution?
Yeah, Laura, please.
Well, what I realized, I think it was last year, I was getting bored of this house in a sense. People are coming here and they are enjoying the house, but I'm not here with them enjoying the house. You know my point? So the next step is to create a space where we can do what we are doing now. Mm-hmm. We can share not only what we have created, but we can be there with people and sharing what we want to share. But I'm seeking in doing workshop as well with people, like me here, sharing my yoga, like making this space bigger. Okay, so with a space we can be there and we can sit and gather. So that's the project. Casa de la Tierra, make more rooms, the restaurants, una biblioteca, so coffee, and gather. Actually, people, friends, they call us and they say, I want to do un retiro, a retreat, please. We are 10. It's like, it's only a house. Oh, I thought it was a big complex. So people are already calling us to make retreats here. So what we are doing is just answering to what people want and what we want. It's not just for people. We want to be part of it and be here, like, you know, create something. So when you don't know what to do and you're in Puerto Escondido, you just come to the coffee, you sit down, and you know the vibe will be with people. They want to connect with other people who have this affinity to go back to nature or to find tools. Okay, so a place where we can share tools and where people can come and share their own tools. So we raise frequency together. So yeah, that's the point.
And coffee.
And coffee.
I like how, you know, what you said just, 10, 15 minutes ago is he's making it real. He's like, what's the common denominator that brings people here? Mas café. I love the vision. I think it's as you said, like a very clear next step if people are already asking for it. And we're experiencing it right now. Like that's why we went to your yoga class this morning. And that's why we're recording this because, these next steps, they're co-created kind of steps, right? What's your part of the vision besides the coffee?
No, it's the same thing with Laura. In fact, Casa de la Tierra is the name of the complex. So we have more land here in the same place. So for that, from maybe 2 years ago or one year and a half, we're thinking, and now maybe you wait. This is our way. So obviously, eco buildings, green rooms, a coffee restaurant, a yoga, a holistic place. So we are working on this project now, little by little.
What about the green building revolution? So if I'm here and I want a bamboo house, you're gonna help me build it, or
there's the no, but from this house, fortunately, a lot of people when the people across the street or look at the house, and normally the people now is coming or maybe I want to interview in order to know more to the eco houses of bioconstruction. And I told you I have with Jorge a company of bioconstruction, and the people is asking me. So it's better. It's getting better. The information is for me the es muy preciada, and now the people is starting in this kind of information.
Yeah.
So now it's better. So the information is, the information is power. So when the people know more thing of the bioconstruction or eco things, techniques, is better, because it's like it's impossible that the people say the eco thing is too bad. It's impossible.
Yeah.
You have to
It's not true, because if you do it, you see it generates so much beauty.
Exactly.
Like here, yeah.
I mean, in Spanish, nadie puede decir que lo ecológico es malo. Si después no lo quieren hacer, es otra cosa.
Right.
Pero nadie puede decir que lo ecológico es malo. Es como decir la naturaleza es mala.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah, no, of course. You're saying no one can say that the ecological way of doing things is a bad way of doing it. I mean, they might choose not to do it this way.
Exactly.
But you can't say that it doesn't work or it isn't worth it if you've seen a place like this or if you've spent time in a place like this. For me personally, I've been looking for more places like this, actually. Since the first time I went to Bali, it's quite a while ago, 2011. And it's funny because it came up today in this episode, that the childlike feeling in a place like this and the childlike imagination when something is based on the shapes of creation, like the circle, right? You're absolutely right. There's a lot of, like, Montessori schools talk about it, Steiner schools talk about it. It's like you can't educate kids in a square box because you will limit their senses, right? And so in 2011, I went to Bali. I went to see the Green School, and I spent actually only one day there. But still, kudos to the creators of the Green School and everyone who's ever been involved with this project, because it changed my imagination of what is possible. I happened to also see their green village behind the school where there's multiple houses like this. And actually in 2011, I already thought this is going to be the future. Anywhere where it's a hot climate along the equator where bamboo grows, this is the way people are going to build. And now it's 10, 15 years almost later. And no, you're still at the cutting edge. You're still the pioneers of that seed. In Mexico maybe, but even in the world. I mean, of course, there are some examples. We can't say you're the very first who ever done this. However, I think your metaphor of the seed that grows to a tree that bears fruit over not months, but years is very, very real. And so for anyone who's listening in and who didn't get scared away by the toilet topic, it's like these are the real projects and the real ways to apply yourself, right?
And more in this society where we want everything now. Okay,
yeah.
I feel sad, give me something so I can feel good, whatever. A Coke, a sugar. So, yes, I do feel
some
sad.
more Instagram dopamine while I'm in the bathroom.
It takes time. It takes time to understand why I feel sad and to take time the tool. And, everything comes to you when you are ready as well. So, nature is slow. So, we are slow as well. And when you put a seed, it takes time to grow up. So, yes. And something I wanted to add as well is we don't say it a lot, okay? But I think as well, the complex we're going to create, hopefully everybody comes in 3 years and it will be done. It's like just the when you arrive and you are inspired, this thing. I don't think too much, but I think this is important. When you arrive in a place and you see the construction and you see how it's done and you see what the vibe inside and people are talking and da-da-da. So you are getting like an energy, you get your battery filled. So after you can take the concept and you just copy paste. Like, please copy the concept. Many people, they're right here, say, I'm going to do a bamboo house. Our first reaction is not that going to be competitors. Our first reaction is, please copy and paste. When you like something, you copy paste. It's like the same in yoga. You like your teacher, copy paste what they say, copy your teacher, copy the stuff you do. Because it will never be the same, you know? So you like something, you copy paste. So people come here in Casa de la Tierra, do it. If you live in a one place, copy paste, do the same. It's okay. We are not going to get 100. Yeah, it's totally.
Eventually, all one is a good observation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't be afraid and like just, get inspired. And if you like something, you can even implement it. Thinking about eco buildings. You like something here, you take it and you do it in your normal house. So you start, like in the big cities, they cannot change all the buildings, but you can start transforming the buildings, okay? Because they say, el mundo está enfermo. The world is sick, the world is sick, but we are like white molecules, somos glóbulos blancos, white globals, and we are going to heal the system from inside.
White blood cells, yeah.
At first, you need to get enlightened yourself, be sure about what you want. So you have your global, the global, it gets light, so you start transforming. And I used to say, for us, it was the easy way, because we arrive here, we have a learn, so we start from the scratch. But the real work is to work in the cities and to start healing the big cities, okay? Because there are so many people over there who need that. So people, you are so brave, you change your life. The real people who are brave are the ones who are in the cities. And they start changing their stuff. I see that.
I like what you're saying, but I do want to bring it back to you too, because I think the real people are those, the brave people, the real brave people are those.
Let's say we are all brave.
Are those who follow and act on that alchemy of love. Because the very first thing you both mentioned was you met each other and there was a match. The eco match, you said. But
obviously it's eco because Laura is naturaleza, yo soy naturaleza. Tú eres naturaleza.
Right.
So look, please.
We are nature. Yeah.
When the people say, you have to take care of the nature, you have to take care of the human being, because when
you're nature.
So it's just, we are.
I love your
nature.
Your conviction about that. I've, for many years, hosted retreats that were called "We Are Nature," because it is such a simple thing to understand, but such an important thing to understand. That we are a big part of that. But I also believe that love and the power and alchemy of love enables us to do so much more than we would be able to do without that love. So maybe that's also brave, to meet each other, find each other, and then really act on that. I have another question for you two. We talked about planting a seed for positive global change. And maybe we won't see the fruits of our work in that sense. What's your personal, both of you, what's your vision, your dream, your sueño, for this planet, for humanity, for the journey we're on? You said you have a deeply positive outlook on the world we're living in. I'd love to just hear, like, what's that conviction, that dream, that desire for our species? And if your kids are gonna listen to this in 60 years from now, what are you gonna say to this?
Okay, that's very much.
Can visit. I have an emotion. I want to cry. Those days are really sensitive, and when this is my sign. I don't know if it's for life or just now. When I want to cry, it's because I'm touching my truth, and my dream is to help as much people as I can to know them, like to have this. We are like onions, and like to throw off all las capas, all the leaf of the onion,
all the layers,
and to get to the earth. Like that's my dream, is like to help as much people as I can to find themselves, like to help them to find their purpose. Okay, and create spaces. That's a branch. Like es un camino. That's a branch to arrive to this purpose. Okay, people perhaps they will be attracted first by the space. They just want to be here, but after they will start to hear, and they will be like, oh, I like what I hear. So the space is just a seduction for the final purpose. Self-realization for everyone. Like everyone has a light, find your light, and just like, this is my biggest dream.
Beautiful.
The thought of seres and libres y felices. May all the beings be happy and free, like for it. Like,
It's similar for me because for me, no, we don't agree.
a match, huh?
No, for me it's like
Sparks of
I want a world like the people take off the fears in order to get more freedom. I mean, like you can choose whatever you want, but with responsibility. Understand? So it's like for me now in this time I am thinking a lot of freedom and responsibility. So maybe I soy muy repetitivo, but this is
Those are big messages, my friend.
Me,
Yeah.
This is if you want freedom, fantastic. If you want more freedom, fantastic. But it's like the like a coin.
Yeah, it comes with responsibility.
Yeah. So if you want responsibility, it's very for you it's fantastic because you will have a very good freedom. And understand is so when the people do it whatever they want, imagine the world is incredible. So please take off the fears, and it's easy. I mean, when you take off the fears, the first step is take off the fear. But when you are in the first step, for me it's more easy. So this is for me, it's like a dream. I don't have dream, but this is my dream. It's not for me. It's more for the people, for the society in general. So this kind of thing will be better for la convivencia, for la vida misma.
For life itself, for the way we live together. Yeah.
Everything is genuino.
Yeah, actually now I thank you because I put words on, I think, on our dream. Create the conditions needed for the people to find themselves, to find their freedom and to find like a balance. But I think that's a kind of our purpose, like put like, you need this space, okay, we create the space, nature, get it, everything, so you have time, you carve and you go inside.
Beautiful. Big stuff, big conversation.
We never said this way, like, thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
Like brainstorm for what is coming.
we're pulling it out of you here. Yeah.
So maybe
We'll call you.
for maybe our sentence is the fruit of our sin.
The fruit for our seed. What was it?
The fruit of the seed that you've planted.
Sí.
No entiendo.
Lo que acabamos de decir quizás sea el fruto de lo que estamos plantando. Y es lo que queremos como sueño, sin querer.
The dream that you're sharing is ultimately the seed you've planted a few years ago that we're sitting in, the first branch of the tree maybe now. But if this tree continues to grow, the fruit of that is the path of self-realization, activating love and freedom, which comes with responsibility, right? Which is ultimately, Gonzalo, you said it, it's not just your personal dream. I think to a certain degree, we all share this dream together. The three of us here, everyone behind the scenes, everyone listening, because this is what it means to be alive. We're on this journey on planet Earth where we realize things are interesting here. They're quite good, actually. There's a lot of possibility, but true freedom, that would be a delicious experience. True freedom would be an experience that comes with ultimately being sovereign and responsible as a human. And so, yeah, it comes back down to how do we interrelate with the environment? How do we interrelate with each other? So it's a very big topic. And
Gonzalo said we need more than a life to be really free. So like first, and I believe it too. It's like
the journey of the soul.
Life, we're gonna get more free. We experience that. So the real freedom is where we are not here. Now we are in our body. Are we free? I don't know.
See, for me, every time the people is looking to the freedom, at every situation, maybe you have more freedom or not, depend. For me, the freedom is like a utopia.
Utopia.
We want freedom because we want to.
Utopia.
To stop the, how do you say, parar lo desagradable, to stop like what we don't like.
Yeah,
el sufrimiento. ¿Cómo se dice?
The sufferings.
To
Yeah.
stop the suffering. So we have the STI.
That's a short-term idea of freedom. Yeah.
If I'm free, I won't suffer. Okay, so if we are here to hurt, we are going to suffer.
There's gonna be friction. There's gonna be challenges. There's gonna be responsibilities. And talking about that right now, here in this moment, as we're about to wrap this episode, I remember you to ask me at this time. Your children will need you to pick them up from school. So the next freedom and responsibility is to do that. Gonzalo, Laura, this was a fantastic conversation.
Gracias.
Thank you for having us in this space and for creating it. May it prosper and may the tree keep growing.
If you're here, come to see us. If you're in Puerto Escondido, right? Yeah, with pleasure. Come to yoga as well.
A really pleasure.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Gracias.